creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together ooky, the Addams Family. Their house is a museum when people go to see them. They really are a scream, the Addams Family. Do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do. So get a witch's shawl on, a broomstick you can crawl on. We're going to pay a call on the Addams Family. Thank you, Jennifer Schultz, Westfield Memorial Library, for what is the launch of my book that was published last October, but with everything happening, we weren't able to give it its birth. And here's the book. It is called Beware the House, and it was published by Brett Rutherford, who is the master of all Gothic things and literature. He is the founding publisher of the Poets Press with over 250 titles, almost 50 years in business. And so I'm very, very pleased that I can launch this book in Charles Addams's hometown haunt. The thing, my crazy family. Who needs a Pillsbury doughboy daddy, nice-nicing sunshine on your hot cross buns, or a do-do-do-do Martha Stewart mom making you snap to her will, double sticking it to you about her goody-goody good things? Nah. The Addams Family taught me, my crazy family had it right. We live in dungeon dreams of Brady Bunch belonging. Snap, snap off the reeky rose heads of a Hallmark card life. That father knows best do-do-do-do. Others televise they have grass instead. As Morticia does, the thorns, those lush, dependable claws, lust, greed, sloth, envy, hate, rage, and grief that last, unlike petals and last. Snap, snap out of your float down the river denial and be free, confessed. Surreal and funereal is realer than real. Your do-do-do-do grandmama is snapping daggers at her son, her daughter-in-law, and her grandchildren. Her suave daddy would rather stay home sucking on his cubanitos rolled in stocks. Your uncle is a festering conduit of charges, a remake of Betty's bloop 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 Grimpy, flashing light bulbs. I hear you saying, my crazy family is going to make me snap, snap. Well then, you are as I am in my crazy family, the official thing, the thing. Just give us a hand, Jane or Jack in the box. Dismemberment for delivering do-do-do-do ego rubs, for dusting secrets off the table. Oh, come dirty. Fess up! It's a snap to make wrong, to back scratch, only to be back scratched, preferably by a tooth back scratcher, to bitch and snarl. My crazy family, harder to be as I am. I'm as thing, but I have no skittering cousin. I have no lurch and toning. You rang, and being that someone to turn pages for, who would play for me, pay for me, secure your place in my crazy family. All you need to do is do, make a face irrelevant, a voice unnamed and unnameable. Be for them that one hand, doing them along, but keep the other to yourself. Out of the boxed in, dangling a dervish, spinning yourself into the beloved. and then conduct yourself as I do, one hand firmly on the Bible of my crazy family, the other a floating cursor on my PC. An illusionist detached, prestidigitating my crazy family to appear, and then do-do-do-do. At that point, I would take my video off. So that's really a hallmark, really a core poem for the book. I was thinking about, I mean, I have many, many Gothic poems, and that's why we have this book. But the Gothic and the Halloween and, well, Purges Night, which is April 30th, the Halloween of spring, all in the Mexican Day of the Dead, we need ways to embrace, to look at, and not to defend so much against our fears and our terrors. And that's why we go to horror movies. And so that's why because I have a lot of terrors, and that's why I have so many Gothic poems. My grandmother was a great source and teacher of what it is to be Gothic. When I am 6 years old, my grandmother tells me to get her stuffed when she dies, like the buckhead by the front door, catching webs of evil between his 6-point antlers. We were to sit her stuffed in the living room, of course, on the sofa or chair, that was our choice, behind the piano where I would play Chopin, Brahms, Schumann, and Beethoven. We were to sew her eyes open, maybe a touch of glass, looking up to the right, like Saint Teresa holding her roses, or Saint Sebastian pierced through with arrows. Her hands were to be sheathed in white lace fingerless gloves, tucked wide to hold the bowl of heaven, and her lips would be slightly parted to show her pearly teeth, her mouth channeling messages from God. I would never be alone. While I shopped for perfume or oil for her lamp, she and the buckhead would wait for my return. Times and times the 6 years I bang at a keyboard all day. Webs, worry my eyes, my mouth, my hands, and my many pores. Shadow antlers, quiver fingers across my scores. Sometime I need to write a whole book just about my grandmother. She was really an extraordinary woman who was never able to realize for herself what it means to be an artist in the world. What she did was she took care of 10 people, and I was often her chief assistant in the kitchen. Grandmother's sausages. She strokes the salty lamb guts onto her finger, like a long blue stocking into a wrinkle of rings, and pulls them inside out off to stretch onto the maw of the meat grinder, screwed to the metal edge table. And I turn the crank, and she presses her. Nothing cuts into the well. Chicken hearts and thighs, she says, your grandfather hand, no be Liberace, no rings, no glass, no chandelier, no money, no hope. Pig's things grinding, she says, your father, arm, no be Victor Mature, push it the column, loving his Delilah, him sit, scratch, pick nose, roll. Me must be my own butcher. Brains, kidneys, tongues. I could to sing the Salome to the Lardensvelk, could be Phyllis Diller, but no, your uncle crazy head. And her first love's nevers, and her father's nose. Frank, necks, snouts, and shall we call them tails? worming through the grinder like words through a telephone. We filled the lamb guts dangling from the grinder's mouth when all the guts were stuffed. The way grandmother said they force-fed geese to fatten their livers, we tie off and twist meat braids for grandfather's smokehouse to cure. His eaves were so well hung with salamis, kielbasa's, head cheese, that I climbed up to dangle my legs among the blood links for her to dance her fingers along as if among chimes and sing, grandmama, sing, sing. Her anger at her position as a woman really was a cage for her, really was a prison. But it set me on to a life of promoting and loving, giving power to women as far as I can. My mother was another business. She was never home. Rita Dove had this wonderful prompt. She said, write a poem about your mother's kitchen and you do not appear in the kitchen. Well, my mother was never in the kitchen because she never cooked. She was always out running around. And there are many different ways that a person does not show up in another person's life. My mother's kitchen was her Pontiac. And her favorite recipe is roadkill deer. Jacklight $1 in your high beams, truss 1 chop onto the car's manifold, drive hard to roast deep, and serve no one. My mother's Tempest features blue hubcap specials, wheat and mush salad with gravel croutons, road splash shake, and my personal favorite, Mirage soufflé du pot whole. I know. I'm her bobble-headed waitress on the back shelf, the hey doll in a wide crocheted dress, legs anchored in the empty core of a toilet paper roll, arms holding an invisible order, pad and pen. My mother feeds me glances in the rear-view mirror, all she can spare from gunning the engine, dodging radar, steering into lights. Behind us, tracks bruise the road, like footsteps do flower in some childhood kitchen, where ovens make sleep, knives blood, and from boiling water, hands wave. Beyond the no, 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 no of her wipers lies the poppy seed road with banana yellow lines. She cuts her wheels along them as if to slash the fugitive ground, gutted of its ashes and its mines. The road unrolls, and the tank runs dry. She leans back in her seat, torn from shifting weight, and burns a wad of its stuffing, a cigarette lighter, and passes it back to me as toast. No matter, I can stop shaking my head off its spring. I can stop waiting. I am the one with the invisible pad and the necessary papers under my skirts. The book is divided into many different houses, and one is the house of work. And one of the things I love about poetry is it brings us back to the body. So the political details don't really matter, but what the experience is for a person. And in this way, we are all universally connected. This poem is called Interview. Manicured fingers, fist rings, thumb cells. 4 men roll their elbows into my vita as if it were a placemat. My interview suit fidgets from my coccyx to my knotted neck. They sit me in the preheated depressions of another candidate's nervousness and swirl my mind into a soup of names I could never remember. remember. Bubbles of eyes, smiles of string beans, and my tongue swells into a ripe apple, too large to form the words, too slick to bite in time. And then one pinches my collar to decipher if I'm 100% or synthetic. The business card they slip under my armpit. Litmus is whether I'm poly or unsaturated, and that's something thin worming through my ear and coming out the other is mental floss. Two of them saw it back and forth and slice it through the length of me and open me like a refrigerator to see if the light turns on. They inspect my drawers for unseen spinach, decades of unfinished glasses of milk. They calibrate my tomatoes, toast my cold cuts and buns. They unscrew my shelves of diamond, shake me like a pinball machine to see if they can score. And meanwhile, I must keep cool, free-shrunk, so they can trust me with the lines of policy, baste me with the chorus of benefits, and oiled up. The better to slide me through the mail slot, I leave. They roll my vita into toothpicks and joints and deliberate if 50K is too little, 70 too much, like a commercial estimating prunes for regularity. And I wonder in my bed if I was the hole for their button, the shell for their egg, the wallet for their wads of bills. And I rise hungry, open my refrigerator, empty but for something on the center rack. It's my face, my face. I lean in and stroke its lips. Artist Joe Jochnowitz and I banded together years ago to create a show called Ashes, Ashes, a poet and an artist responds to the Shoah. And this is one of the poems from that collection. Adopt a corpse. Is your life a sham wow? Are you a war stats junkie, a numbers jockeying newshead? Then OxyClean your life with Adopt a Corpse. Nothing down, it's yours. Take this child torched in a crawl away pose, or this man, face clearing under a cinder block wall, his body on the other side dissolved to a nuclear ooze. Someone is waiting for you. Chin dropped, lips curled back, chanting maggots and worms. Mighty putty your corpse into the lower left of your dreams to caption your acquisitions and lusts. The warning, you may get lice, boils, and depressed. You may lose heart, your pressure might go up, you might faint, you might die, but your corpse, will need no pajamas, no sunny side ups, no glasses of milk, only let it lose its life more fully than yours. Call toll-free while supplies last, and the next 10, 9, 8 will include 3 landmines and a packet of anthrax for DIY. Hurry, be quick, choose before you are kaboom! The end-all diet. This is the one, everyone. We're all going to win at this. It will not be hard. This diet, no DVDs, no websites, no 2-for-1s at Jenny Dregg's, no old Estra, no aspartame. There will be no shame, no temptation to binge and purge, no glasses of water and starve, no more to starve. Will be fast. Your thighs will never again strain the zipper of your jeans. On its own, your belly will assume that 6-pack look, tucked in, skin sculpting ribs. Sit-ups will be strictly forbidden. The cellulite will unpucker and dissolve. Everyone wait to be as thin as you are in your death suit. Size 0. At last. I'd like to read a poem called Gargoyles. And right now, I really miss the halls of academia, where the students would all be lined along the hallway, and they always looked like gargoyles to me. And so here's a Gothic poem about cell phones. Gargoyles, masters of the high gutter, troughs in their backs to channel roof water through their gargling throats, past the facades of friable mortar and stone. Grotesques, we call the winged dragon hurling, the flying monkey frozen mid-flight, the ghoul with lizard tongue, nose pickers, half frog faces, eyes fixed, mouth gaping, conduits all, as are our gargoogling students in hallways, or undergrounders texting on platforms, or workers surfing by the garage elevator, backs buttressing cinder block walls, legs angled into number fours, fingers claw-like, thumbs brailing. They cradle their third hands, their spouts of ethereal spew, garble from the cloud, Facebook feed, organized, gaga, agog. There are many joys to be had in a life. Some of the simplest are the best. And this one has some Gothic images in it, so I thought I would read it for you. It's an old poem, but one that is honest. Not brushing my teeth is all I have left sometimes of freedom and lust. This sweet, sweet potatoing on the couch. This get up, yielding to, nah. Why bother? Tuna, sesame, celery, and the occasional gnat, and germs shuttling on rafts of words anchor so like popcorn shells in my bridge working gaps. I might need razor wire for floss and calculus to figure how to winch these feet onto the floor. And the remote has fallen between the cushions. Dark shadows is rerunning on the dew. Ocean waves crashing and dashing against the rotten teeth rocks of the shore. And Barnabas Collins is bearing his bloody fangs. Clean teeth would glow to him. A come on of my vampire virginity. Oh, it's too scary to move. How much could my gums recede from one day of unabluted mastication? One night of wiring and not doing the commercial's bidding, not squeezing the crest, not slipping the rubber butler wiggle into my cracks, not back and forth, back-and-forthing the floss through my amalgamated crevices. Plaque, let it do what plaque does. Build. This is my forbidden at last. Sugar tingling through pulp-embedded nerves, the illicit lingering with the undigested. My tongue sucked to my palate in a redolent marination. So what to the tartar I might catch from my night on the cusp of taboo, for not brushing off inevitable decay. The Ventriloquist. Epigraph from Alfred Korn. When the body dies, where is the presence then? Grandma, I'm trying to press your body into the coffin, but your arms and legs and head keep spilling like a dummy's out. I squat on your lid like a paperweight, wedge in your arms with my hands, your bunion feet with mine, tuck in your dyed hair with my teeth, mound dirt on, and just when you seem all cozy, cozy in the ground, an earlobe or nipple comes cropping like a dandelion. So I mulch your grave with photographs, condolence cards, obits, but you are belting out dirty songs that will not go away. Do we have to exhume you, buy you a new plot for a place distant from the neighboring dead so they can lie back down? Beyond mortified, I moved to a mountain, and slowly I turned to find you, conducting the birds and frogs in your poltergeist sing-along, belly breathing in the trees, tweeting and croaking with you, my famulus, my Grandma Jane in the box, playing this particular routine to the back row. So listen, did you hear about the one? And I am going to complete the reading with a poem that is actually a true story. And the epigraph, the poem is called The Dybbuk, D-Y-B-B-U-K. And this is paraphrased from the Jewish Virtual Library. A dybbuk, from the Hebrew for adhere or cling, is the evil spirit of a dead person who is not laid to rest, and enters into a living person, cleaves to her soul, causes mental illness, and talks through her mouth. 1. You die alone, mother. That moment, a bat appears in Mort's room and wakes me shrieking from an unnatural nap, swoops at me through the hallway, the dining, the living room, and I say it is you. It's gone. The gilt clock your husband gave us stops on the moment of your death, and my framed website photo smashes to the floor. A 7-foot driftwood trunk topples, missing me by 4 inches. Snow, wind, midnight power outs, clocks flashing wrong and different times. The cemetery is too frozen to receive you. You, who hoarded towers of sour cream cups, Hungarian newspapers, 436 knitted caps. You are hoarding still. Your sealed coffin in the funeral home cooler for 3 months. The night of your funeral mass, Mort can't walk. He goes to the ER, surgery. They cut his ureter by mistake. His belly swells into a 10-month gravid bowling ball. My Al-Anon sponsor divorces me by text. One best friend is diagnosed with breast tumors. Another falls twice in the night, breaking her neck and foot. My black cat dies. The hot water stops. Mice overrun our silverware drawers, and the dryer duct burns. 3. The film The Unborn on Lifetime Channel is a twin Dybbuk who kills a lovely Casey's grandmother, then Casey's best friend, then her lover, to weaken Casey enough so that she, the Dybbuk, can enter her body and be reborn. Images of Dybbuks on Google: hand thrusting out of a mouth, a dog's head upside down, double heads, man of war suckling on a man's nipples, a skeleton lying on a girl. Your husband insists that April 30th will be your burial, not knowing it's Walpurgis night, the Halloween of spring, and my father and stepmother's 46th anniversary. I gas up to go, but the receipt reads 6.66 gallons, 666. Revelations 13. Mark of the beast, Nero's numerals, he who sent his mother out in a faulty ship to drown and played the lyre while Rome burned. Instead of going to your interment, I veer towards a Massachusetts poetry festival. At 11 a.m., as they lower your coffin into a small New York Village grave, I, at the pulpit of the Salem church called The Bridge, sing, think of me, the Phantom of the Opera. 6. In a dream, I say that I welcome the ancestors. and a white sun descends to fill my eyes and face, and I wake up hearing your voice in my mouth, the last words no one heard as you died alone. Help me, please. And on that note, I finish. So I hope everyone will come back with your images and unmute yourself so that we may chat.
Okay, so I muted everybody. It just sometimes takes several minutes.
No problem. Ah, yes, you're coming back, my friends.
So I'm going to address two things. I'm sorry. One thing, I think I was addressing one question and somebody heard me typing, and I apologize. If I mute myself, I often end up affecting the speaker and muting her. So I obviously didn't want to do that, so apologies. And I think somebody saw maybe my video and yours flip-flopping. I'm not sure how and why that happened. On my screen, you were dominant the entire time.
So I was your Dybbuk.
And then I tuned the video hoping it would stop whatever somebody saw, but unfortunately I did not see it at all on my end.
Before we start chatting, I want to thank you, Jennifer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just
very much for this launch of my book. I want to thank Brett Rutherford, who believed in me and brought this book out. I know that David Messinio is here. Without him, much of my work would not be, and certainly this book was, without his help, this book would not have come out this year. They are both extraordinary poets, and I'm so grateful to have them in my life and to have their support and love. And you have mine. I'm also so pleased to have Ben here, my godson, all my friends, and it's just great. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Says, talk to me, talk to me.
Yeah, everybody should be unmuted.
I'm unmuted.
Good. Hi.
That was really creepy.
Good.
But it gave Halloween like a new depth, and my goose pimples are up right now. So I'm not going to be able to go to sleep for a while, I think. But
no problem, Ben. Just get on. We'll get on a Zoom. You get your milk, and I'll tell you some bedtime stories.
It was great. It was great reading along too. I was reading the words you wrote as you told them, but they stood out like in so many more dimensions as you spoke them. Added, even more the drama, the thing. I could see it. I could see elements. It was just.
Did you also notice how I changed words? I was just telling Jennifer earlier. I never stopped editing poems. The book is probably 40 years old, and I was editing it 2 minutes before the program. But all my poet friends know what that's like. Poem is never finished, it's just abandoned from time to time.
Does that mean you changed the recipe for the sausage? Because I was writing down the ingredients.
I don't know, Carl.
I want to be well hung also.
Would you like to? Yes, I was raised, I see that Michelle Testa, my good friend from Hope Pius, was there. The Catholic school girls are, because they cannot walk the walk, they talk the talk. So you'll see there are a lot of sexual images in my poems. That's my talk.
So does anybody have any questions for Irene? Excuse me, Susanna, do you have any comments about her poetry or her use of imagery?
Hello, Susanna.
Hi, Donna.
I'm only looking at the Westville Memorial Library logo, The poetry and your delivery are just phenomenal. It's been many years since I've enjoyed your poetry through the book that I bought way back when in New Jersey. And it's extremely disconcerting for me. And I hope I was the only one that had this fluky visual with every time, even when you were talking, Susanna, the visual wasn't on you. So there was this hopscotch back and forth, and that really needs to be corrected.
Oh.
I hope that you will continue to offer this to us, and I think in the world we're growing into with Zoom and the desire for connectivity, the power of your performance equally, and the power of the words, most of which I got, not all, are just phenomenal. I'm uplifted by this. I thank the Westville Library, and amazing.
Okay,
Thank
can
you.
I ask this? Did everybody have that problem?
No, all you had to do was pin. All you had to do was pin Susanna.
Pin me, pin
And that's who
me.
you saw. That was it.
We only saw
How do
you.
You know how to do that. You
No, I don't.
right click on someone's picture, on someone's Zoom screen, right click, and you'll see two choices, chat or pin. And you can pin her, and then you'll see her big.
Okay, I was not looking at everybody else's. I was only getting the feed, and that feed alternated. So I didn't know.
Yeah, you have to be in gallery view mostly to see each person.
Okay.
So once you do that, right click.
I have to say, I have this thing that I always say. I have had so many performances where I'm not getting into the mood. I am peeing and pacing, but I'm not getting into the mood. It's the tech. Where's that chord? You know, what's going on here? What's always the tech? It's always, I think I have to write a Gothic poems about it's always the tech.
I think you can use pinning in a poem because it's especially appropriate for tonight's theme, and wonderful performance. And I think you pinned it or nailed it or whatever. Great job.
Thank you.
Suzanne, I so loved your voice, and it's your voice of poetry, that poetic voice that you have, as well as your body work on all of these. Really lovely. And I met you years ago at David.
Yes.
I remember you touching me on the top of my head. And when you spoke tonight about you try to support women, love life, and all those things, that's how long ago I can remember that. So you've done it. And your poetry is such fun.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. This is quite, I really love seeing all your faces. All of you are so very special to me in so many different ways. I am so grateful that we have this time together. And, again, I have to say that Brett Rutherford believed in me. He accepted my manuscript in 18 hours. And I love you for that. And to be able to be part of the Poet Press family is a great honor for me. And there's my David. To be part of the Sensations magazine is always just the dearest thing in my poetry life. And Carl Selinger, you're my new poetry buddy. Denise and Paul, you're you adopted me when I first started to read poetry out loud, and here I am, and here you are still with your wonderful supportive selves. And I could just go on and on. Any questions about my crazy family? If I can't answer it, I'll write a poem for you about it.
Well, I did have, Susanna, a particular reaction to your work. It makes me feel childlike in a good way. You're, as dark fairy tales do, you're inoculating us against the real terrors that we're facing every day now. I actually went back and read a little bit of Bruno Bettelheim's Uses of Enchantment.
Yes. Yes, I thank you for mentioning that. I'll pay you later, Carney. I'm currently finishing a new manuscript that's going to be weaving mythical poems about the Cinderella story. There's a lot darker versions of it in the beginning. Disney really cleaned it up, and I'm going to be weaving that together with the poems about my real life as a stepdaughter with two sisters. So I'm working on that right now. You know, poetry really it's an opportunity for us to let go of all our defending against our feelings, all our addictions that we do so we don't feel our feelings. It invites us to be real, to be authentic, and to have fun while we're doing it. No, it's I know that many of the poets here know exactly what I'm talking about, and so
is Beware the House available for us to get? I'll put a little commercial plug in for you.
Thank you. It's called Beware the House, and it's you can it's available on Amazon, right? My publisher.
Yes.
Susanna, I'll definitely reach out in case we can't get it through Baker and Taylor. I'll make sure we get a copy.
Thank you, and also I have to say that for those of you who are, I mean, this book is the book that preempted my launching Beware the House, because the vote is so very important, and this is filled with first-person, present tense poems that I wrote from the points of view of our great women and some righteous men who gave us this vote that we are so importantly having that we need to very importantly cast, especially this time. And it includes Susan B. Anthony, of course, Matilda Jocelyn Gage, who is the model for the Good Witch of the North. That was her son-in-law who wrote those books. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, in an argument with Andrew Jackson over who should be on the $20 bill, and so on.
And is that available through Amazon also?
Yes, it is. I'll write those two book titles in there. And if you can't find it, just send me an email. It's susannarich@gmail.com. You know, I am H-less, everyone, so don't give me an H. This is a shout.
Yep.
Susanna, I
Yes,
gotta say, love and hugs, and thank you for a very special evening. It was
Thank you,
wonderful.
Seema, it was so good to have you here. Every time I look at you, my mouth tastes with the flavor of macaroons.
Oh dear. Trust your teeth. Love and hugs.
Love and hugs. All right, my dears. Let me pull this out here so I can actually work on my computer.
Hey, Dr. Rich, I just want to thank you so much. I'm on my 8th year of teaching, but I'm sadly teaching math and science, but I so want to teach English again, but I miss you so much, and I think about you, and I still have my Emily Dickinson books with my Post-its in it, and I share it with all my friends that teach English still in my district. I think of you all the time.
My students are my kids. You know, you are my family, and you know, to have you here is it makes me teary. To know that we will always be connected, and I am so proud of you. I remember your wonderful self in class.
I actually shared out some stuff from your class a couple weeks ago to my sister's friend who loves Emily Dickinson. I'm like, this is from Professor Dr. Rich, and I think of you. And even though I'm only teaching math and science now, anytime like a colleague teaches ELA, I'm like, listen, try to use this. I'm like, it's just so great. I love to stay connected. Years go by.
Send me an email at susannarich@gmail.com, and I'll send you my blog, which has a lot of stuff on Emily Dickinson to support you.
Oh, yes. I love that. Just quoting Emily Dickinson's poetry, and we were discussing it, and it's I need that nowadays. Math and science.
She's a great Gothic poem.
I really do.
She's a great Gothic poet. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. Yep. And she also has necrophilia poems, if I can have it when it's dead.
but just you just understood me on a level that a lot of professors at Kean just did not, and it just blows me away to this day.
Thank you, my dear. You bless me. You bless me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Susanna, read from the chat here. Wait, I just lost it for a minute. And M. Testa, I don't know her name, unfortunately, but remembers your grandmother and your mother from our St. Nick's days.
Yes,
Had visuals
Michelle.
of you throughout your fabulous performance.
Thank you, Michelle
Unfortunately, she doesn't
Testa.
have a video for herself, but I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you, my dear. So good to have you here. So, anybody here want to share your experience with the Gothic?
With me, I just have to say that it started when I kind of went Gothic in high school, and I think Dr. Rich really brought out that side of me and made it okay to kind of indulge in the dark part of life. And I think that she just gave me the freedom to be myself, and she taught me so much about writing, and I'm just so grateful for her.
Thank you, my dear. Is this too embarrassing? But I love this. I love a love fest, you know. I love a love fest. I love you guys, and I'm receiving all of your care and love, especially my students. You know, these are my kids. People, these are my kids. Kids, these are my people.
And I love the poem on gargoyles. Oh, the descriptions are fabulous.
Tell me about it. Doesn't it look like that with people with they have like 1 foot up, you know, like a number 4, and I'm like, and I'm walking down the hall and I say, what roof am I walking on?
I was pleased you started with The Thing.
Oh, please, let me just say this. This is Joel Allegretti. He created this extraordinary book called Rabbit Ears, which Billy Collins actually offered as a name for the book, and it's poems filled with poems about television. So if any of you like that poem, please, you know, I'm having trouble with my computer, but it's called Rabbit Ears. Joel, if you can get that information into the chat, my computer's not doing things.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
thank
did,
you. That was great.
So did witches make it to Beware the House by any chance from Shakespeare's Itches?
Oh, no. Shakespeare's Itches, the Woman versus Will, is a series of songs. I'm working it up into a full-fledged musical, not just a cabaret. And there's a song in there from the Scottish plays, Witches, you know, devil, 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 you know, all that. How does that go?
I don't know. Dig 'em, dig 'em, and all that.
Dig 'em, dig 'em, dig 'em, truss 'em up and rig 'em.
Right.
He can do all
That's what it went well with tonight's theme.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Susanna, just another quick share with somebody from the chat named Randy.
Yes, Randy.
That have to leave now, but thank you so much, Susanna. What a
Thank
wonderful
you, Randy.
event, and you are terrific.
Thank you, Randy. I love you.
And if everybody can see their chat, Joel did share the book that he published called Rabbit Ears TV Poems.
Endeavor.
Get that in the chat as well.
I would like to say something about, in addition to Susanna's wonderful contribution, David Messinio was also.
Oh, yes.
And I would like to say that all contributor royalties earned on sales of rabbit ears go to City Harvest, the New York Food Rescue Organization.
Great organization.
Poetry really is nourishment. It is refuge. It is the place where that brings us together, especially during the separations that politics and religion create. And catharsis, you know. I mean, I have a lot of dark experiences with my family, and yet to write the poetry helps somehow to diffuse it. It helps me to feel the feelings I need to feel, and then I can move on to the joy and silliness part.
Susanna, this is David here.
Well, thank you, Susanna.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
for
for
coming.
being
Thank you.
here.
Susanna, it was
Everybody
great.
Every
and
single one of
enjoyed her.
you.
I've learned a lot about her, I think, just from listening to everybody here tonight. And just thank you so much for a great evening.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Have a good
Be
night.
safe,
Good
stay
evening.
well, stay healthy.
Thank you again, Brett, for believing in me, because this book wouldn't have been here without you.
Maybe someday we'll have Susanna in the library again.
I would love to come.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go out by singing the logo from Addams Family. They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together creepy, the Addams Family. Their house is a museum. When people go to see them, they really are a scream. The Addams Family. Da-da-da-da. 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 You'll get a witch's shawl on, a broomstick you can crawl on. We're going to pay a call on the Addams Family.
Yay.
And I'm going to drop the mic now. Ready?
Good night, all.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for a wonderful
Thank
evening.
you.
I love you all, every one of you.
You're the greatest.
Love you.